Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. No matter where you are, no matter what you are doing, thank you for tuning into another episode of How To From Cure to You with me, your host, Noah. So today we're going to go over how to use a dry leaf vaporizer. Dry leaf is the newest form of consumption when it comes to cannabis here in the state of Pennsylvania. So let's go ahead and look at some of the tools that we'll need to start off with. So the first tool that we'll need is a vaporization assistance tool. This is something that you're going to use to grind up some of your cannabis. And it might look something just like this guy here. You can see I have my teeth on the inside. My bud would go directly in between those teeth. I put the top on and do about 3 full rotations of it, really get a nice grind. Open it up, and now we have our dry leaf. We're going to tap it out onto a little piece of paper. And now we're going to grab our dry herb vaporizer, which might look something like this. Something like this. We're going to go over each of these specifically in just a little bit, but we're just going to go over the general process right now. So we're going to grab our dry herb vaporizer, we're going to open it up and find the chamber where we're putting our dry leaf. Go ahead and take some, put it directly into that chamber. And you're going to want to fill it up to the top of that chamber, but you don't want to pack it down. The reason that's key is we need airflow to go through the vaporizer to make sure that we can heat up all the dry leaf inside of there. So you're going to fill it up just to the top, but you're not going to pack it down to leave some room. You're going to put your top on, your cap on, whatever you need to use. You're going to go ahead and turn it on, and you're going to find a temperature anywhere between 380 and 400 degrees. Those are the optimal temperatures for dry leaf vaporization. Anything over 400, we're really going to start to burn up a lot of our medicine, and we're going to get kind of a harsh taste. Anything under 380, we're actually not unlocking some chemical compounds that need to be burned at a higher temperature. So right in between 380 and 400 is where it's going to be. So once you've packed it in, you have turned on your vaporizer, you're ready to inhale. And now the inhalation is very key here with a vaporizer because it's a lot different. It's a very slow, gentle inhale because we're really working with a tiny oven and we're moving it with a very fine vapor. So it's a very soft inhale, almost for about 3 to 4 seconds. And with this, with that really slow inhale, we're actually going to see a much smaller cloud leave our mouth. And when you are a patient who needs to see that cloud as that confirmation that my medicine is working, it's kind of difficult to wrap your head around a bit. And so it's something that you're really going to focus on the taste. If you can taste your dry herb coming into your mouth, you can taste it leaving your mouth, that means we know the medicine is effective without being able to see such a big cloud. And if you really need to see it, I know this is going to sound weird, you can take a flashlight or the light on your smartphone, go ahead and hold it right underneath your chin, and just exhale as the light's underneath there so you can see that there's actually a little vapor leaving your mouth, and it's just a lot smaller than some of the other forms that we're used to, and that's okay. And so those are some generalities on just dry herb vaporizers. So we're going to break down some individual ones that we actually do have in our shop, and the first one we're going to go over is our G Pen Elite. And so that's going to look like this guy right here. We can see the G down at the bottom to let us know that it's a G Pen, but it's very straightforward. Once again, we're going to take our dry leaf, we're going to go ahead and open up the G Pen. It opens up at the top comes off, and then the oven's actually going to look like that ceramic chamber right there. So we're going to take our dry leaf, go ahead and fill up that whole ceramic chamber on there, and then we're going to close the tip on, and we're ready to go. So you're going to click the middle button right here. That white button, we're going to click it 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we can see on the right-hand side is our temperature reading. And right now you see that that's the room temperature. Anywhere it says about 68. The 2 buttons on the side we're going to use to move the number of degrees up and down. And so that's what we're going to see there. So like I said, we're going to get it anywhere between 380 and 400 degrees. So after we found that right temperature we want to start at, it goes back to the standing room temperature. You're going to hold that white button down for about 1 Mississippi, let go, and then you can actually see those numbers start to move up as it gets to the optimal temperature that we put it at. We're going to sit it down, we're going to wait. Once it gets up to that heated temperature, it's going to stay lit. And then once it's at that top temperature, also make sure that you let it sit for about 10 to 15 seconds to really let that dry leaf cook. And then at the optimal temperature, remember what we talked about with the inhale, a very slow, deliberate inhale for about 3 to 4 seconds. We don't want to cause any irritation in the lungs, a very soft, gentle inhale to our lips. And then we exhale. You're going to repeat that process about 2 to 3 times, and then when you're ready and you're all done, go ahead and click the button 5 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we've turned our G Pen off. Now, if you don't want to click it 5 times to turn it off, that's okay. It auto shuts off on its own. The other guy that we're going to talk about is the Apex Pulsar. So with that guy, it's going to look like this. A little bit of a different design. You can see a different mouthpiece up there, but the same basic principle. We're going to open it up. We're going to take our dry leaf, and as you can see, its oven's a little bit smaller. But we're going to go ahead and fill our oven to the top without backing it down. We're going to go ahead and put the top back on, and we're going to click this button right at the top 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we can see it's starting to heat up. The difference between the Apex Pulsar and the G Pen Elite is the Apex has 5 preset temperatures. So to find the different ones, you're going to hold the button down and it actually cycles through. Remember, we want to be between 380 and 400 degrees, so we're going to leave it right there. And when this guy's ready to medicate, you'll feel a vibration. You can see the light is now solid. That tells me I'm ready. So remember, we're going to let it sit for about 10 to 15 seconds. Then we go ahead and we inhale. And like I said, you're going to do that for about 2 to 3 inhales, and those inhales last anywhere between 2 to 3 seconds. When you're done with this guy, go ahead and click it 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He turns off on his own. But if you don't want to turn it off on your own, that's okay. He also has an auto shut-off feature too, so it doesn't get too hot and it doesn't cause any, burns on your little fingers there. And there you have it. A nice little introduction to dry leaf vaporization from us here at Cure. Now, before I go, I want you to remember that this is a patient-driven show. If you have a question, a comment, or concern, please feel free to let us know, something you would like me to talk about or go over. I'd be happy to help in any way that I can. So you can find us on an email address at info@curepen.com. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at curepen with 2 N's. You can find us on Facebook at Cure Pennsylvania on Facebook. And there you have it. So, until next time, you stay classy, Pennsylvania.